What's going on, guys? It is me, the Lone Vault Wanderer, and I have a quick Fallout 4 news update for you. So to be honest, guys, I saw this article about 2 days ago and I just passed it off as bullshit because, again, it's come from one of these clickbait websites that are just trying to capitalize on Fallout 4 hype and news. But I decided to do this video now because another website has also picked up a similar story. But again, these two websites, they don't look legitimate to me, so I'm actually calling bullshit on this whole leak, rumor, whatever you want to call it, because it's referring to somebody on Reddit that's apparently leaked a bunch of information going by the name of GNR_informant, and he's saying that he knows a public relation officer from Bethesda and who's shared on some of the content from Fallout 4, and that the game is certainly in development. Now, obviously, while the game is probably in development, I think we all know that, I find it hard to believe these kinds of leaks or these kinds of, I don't know, rumors going around, because we know that people can fake this stuff all the time. We had a Fallout hoaxer who's just come out recently and said, yeah, I make this stuff all the time, and he tries to capitalize on the right time for each game to release a certain leak, like for example, that Bethesda memo that looked legitimate, but in fact it was made by him, and he came out and said, this is what I do, and I don't know what kind of person likes to do that kind of thing, but to each their own, I guess. But I don't know, I just find it hard to believe these kinds of leaks, so I'm gonna describe it to you, and I'm gonna let you, make your own minds up about it. I think it's bullshit. I just don't think, anyone can create a random Reddit account and be like, oh, I know somebody from Bethesda, here's what's happening. And I think the first red flag from this, and I'll read the first paragraph that he's put on this Reddit post. He says, first and foremost, the game will take place in Boston and be kind of a direct sequel to Fallout 3 with a few groups returning. From what it sounds like, the Institute is pretty much the downtown DC or New Vegas of this game. Boston is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen in a Fallout game before, with buildings more on par with cyberpunk and retro futurism. So, first thing, alright, it's saying that the game's going to take place in Boston. This rumor has been flying around so often, but every time Boston has been mentioned, that rumor associated with it has, turned out to be fake. We've had no concrete evidence that Boston is actually going to be the setting. The Survivor 229 website perpetuated it. This perpetuated it. And that there were so many different leaks and rumors saying that Boston is going to be the setting. Now, for all we know, Boston could be the setting. I mean, I remember way back in the day they were saying, Bethesda was out at Boston with some scouts and they were plotting the area to see what they were going to do with the Fallout 4 map. But even that I don't believe was confirmed to be legitimate. I believe that was fake as well. So it seems anytime Boston is mentioned, the associated rumor or article is just fake. So that's the first red flag I see from this. But, it makes some interesting comments too with the cyberpunk and the retro futurism. If that's going to be the direction of the Fallout 4, it's not going to be like Fallout 3. It's not going to be like a decaying wasteland. That, to be honest, I love that feeling of Fallout 3. It truly felt like a post-apocalyptic wasteland. But if they're going to go in this direction, it doesn't meld well with me. And that's why I don't think there is any legitimacy to this post. But I'll continue and stop criticizing. So, the poster goes on by saying, androids play a big part in the game. The railroad from Fallout 3 is a faction. The enemies of the railroad is the plantation, a group who force androids to farm so humans can get food. The Institute is highly advanced and probably obtained or built their own GEC to start a farm. Due to complaints about using super mutants and Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 3 excessively and going against the law too much, Bethesda has decided to avoid using these groups. Bethesda wants to make a new race, think Ghoul Super Mutant, which will be central to Boston. Bethesda is currently looking at Lovecraftian fiction since Boston is around Lovecraft country. Bethesda has no plans to reinvent the leveling system to make it more like Skyrim, and want to make Fallout 4 more distinct from Skyrim since of the complaints that Oblivion and Fallout 3 were too similar. Bethesda is thinking about introducing a system similar to Skyrim, where your skills can level up if you perform certain tasks. Alright, God, I really want to tear this thing to shreds because I think it's a load of shit. I really do. I mean, oh, fuck's sake. Okay. First thing, androids play a big part in the game. You guys remember back in the day with Survivor 2299, it tried to perpetuate that story with Boston and the androids playing a game because of Dr. Zimmer, or I believe that was the Tumblr page, but anyways, one of those two. talking about how Dr. Zimmer is going to make an appearance and the androids are going to play a big part. That was all of the stuff that was associated with the Survivor and the Tumblr website leaks, and they were all found out to be fake. So why should we believe this kind of storyline or setting now? It seems like it's just drawing off past elements of what we've already disproven and found out to be fake in the past. So that's just my opinion. If you want to take this just from face value and say, if this was true, would it be cool? I guess it would be. I don't like the idea of Bethesda going against using past groups from Fallout 3. I would love to see Brotherhood of Steel come back in the game, just as much as I would love to see the Enclave come back in the game. I want to see their war continue, at least in some capacity, whether it's part of the main quest or whether it's part of a side quest, for example. I think there are definitely going to be super mutants, but obviously, well, like with any new game, there's going to be new enemies, there's going to be new factions, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be past cameos, cameos from past games, because we're all Fallout 3 fans if we're about to play Fallout 4. So Bethesda would like to, give us a nod saying, yeah, we appreciate you sticking by us this whole time. Here are some past references to Fallout 3 and also to New Vegas. Here are the Brotherhood of Steel again. I mean, you wonder why New Vegas had the Brotherhood of Steel bunker. I love that quest because it at least, had a little bit of a reference to what happened in Fallout 3. And even though I blew up, I was talking to this with a subscriber of mine, even though I blew up the Brotherhood bunker, it was because I was going to get an achievement. It was still a fun thing to do. I liked seeing the Brotherhood of Steel again, and I would like to see those cameos happen again in Fallout 4. So I don't think Bethesda is just going to completely script out, past factions in Fallout 3. So I don't know what to believe of this, to be honest, guys. No plans to reinvent the leveling system. I have no quarrels with that. I know Skyrim's leveling system is great, and I know that there are some rumors and people talking that Bethesda was planning to completely reinvent Fallout's leveling system. Also, similar to what New Vegas did with the reputation system, how it works on faction basis as opposed to you steal, I don't know, a loaf of bread and then you become evil in the eyes of everyone. So look, the reason why I've kind of glanced past this, because I've said it again, I think this is bullshit. I think eventually this story is going to fizzle out, and I think probably one of the major red flags as well is that if this story was somewhat legitimate, you would see a major website, a major gaming website pick this up. And I was talking to a subscriber about this in the past with Kotaku's leak of the casting call scripts, right? People still didn't believe it, but I do believe that that's real, and let me tell you why. Is because no matter what people think of Kotaku, they're still trying to be a legitimate and reputable website. People have their own reservations about them and their own criticisms about them, but they're still trying to make themselves out to be a reputable gaming news website. So they're not going to be shooting themselves in the foot by releasing a casting call script. And because other websites know that, like IGN, like GameSpot, etc., they know that Kotaku is not trying to ruin its reputation, so they took that article and then they posted about it themselves. But you don't see IGN posting about what's happening on MOTORINGCRUNCH. You don't see Kotaku posting about what's happening on KDRAMASTARS. It just doesn't happen like that, because these are the same websites coming up every day with new Fallout 4 quote-unquote news. And to be honest, it's all bullshit. I talked about this in my last video. So I'm telling you, don't believe this, but at the very least, I guess, take it as a discussion point. If you like the whole cyberpunk and retrofuturism setting, I guess, then, have a talk about it. But do I think it's going to be in the game? Probably not. There could be some aspects of truth to this, but if there is any truths, or if there is any consistency, it would probably just be a coincidence. If the game does, happen to take place in Boston, it doesn't mean that this leak was true. To be honest, I just think somebody has created a random Reddit account and decided to post this. I mean, if it was legitimate, you would see IGN, Kotaku, etc. trying to contact this person, back them up as a credible source, and then they would be posting about it themselves. But because this hasn't happened, I'm calling bullshit. So anyways, guys, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself and keep fighting the good fight.